Thank you. Good morning. I'm Tom Demmer, State Representative from Dixon. I just want to make a few brief comments about the state budget that was passed last night, or early this morning, really. I'd like to give you more detail, but unfortunately, we're still working through it. The lack of transparency, the lack of time to review a 3,000-page budget bill, and frankly, the lack of the ability to have a robust floor debate on the budget bill and the budget implementation have made it virtually impossible for any legislator, much less any person in the press or the public, to really understand what is in the $42 billion spending plan that was put forward yesterday. There are a few key items that we have been able to obtain through questioning of the sponsor on the floor. The first is that in order to balance the budget, it relies on over $600 million in tax increases on Illinois businesses. These are changes that affect businesses' ability to recover from the pandemic. They limit the ability for businesses to claim operating losses year to year. Operating losses are something that many more businesses are familiar with after one of the most difficult economic years they've ever been through. One of the changes raises their taxes by limiting their ability to recover from those losses. There's also a tax that will now impose, going back on a deal that we struck several years ago, will now impose a corporate franchise tax on over 6,000 businesses who had, under state statute, been scheduled to have their franchise tax repealed over the coming years. The Democrats broke that agreement, have reimposed the corporate franchise tax on thousands of Illinois businesses. It's also notable what's not in this budget. What's not in this budget is any funding to pay down the debt that we have in our unemployment insurance trust fund. As we all know, the unemployment insurance system was overwhelmed in the last year by truly unprecedented and historic events. The reality today is that we have $5 billion in debt in the trust fund that's directly related to COVID, and that could be solved with a one-time payment into the unemployment insurance trust fund, funded by the same federal dollars that are designed to help states recover from the pandemic. If we don't address this debt, there are three negative things that will happen. First, we'll have to reduce benefits for individuals in the unemployment insurance system. Second, all employers who pay unemployment insurance taxes will see a significant tax increase. And third, the state will have to pay out of general revenue funds interest on that debt in every budget year until we solve the problem. It's also notable that while we did make some allocations out of the federal funding that we received, the $8.1 billion in federal funding we received, there was a question of priorities. Instead of prioritizing something like unemployment insurance, which affects every employee and employer across the state, we saw $1 billion in capital projects that came from Democrat-only member requests. Democrat-only member requests. So federal funds designed to help states recover from COVID instead went to pet projects in politically drawn districts. We also have a case of priorities when it comes to our ability to debate, understand, analyze, and discuss an important budget that will set the state's operating plan for the next year. What we saw from the Democrats this session is what the true priorities were. And the number one priority was to pass politically drawn gerrymandered maps. That happened a week ago. That happened with a tremendous amount of attention and fanfare. That happened not at the 11th hour, not while cutting off debate, but instead in a way that showed you that the true priority of this year was to maintain their political advantage. And everything else, a watered-down ethics bill, a last-minute budget, a budget implementation plan that got virtually no ability for the public to see what's in it, all passed at the 11th hour in a demonstration that we continue to govern through a system of brinksmanship. That's inappropriate. The people of Illinois deserve better, and we should see a true prioritization of transparency in Springfield.